Nick Majerison here. Welcome to Top Med Talk. Make sure you listen to the end of this podcast where we have a special announcement about how you can have the entire Top Med Talk back catalogue for free. Before that, though, today's Top Med Talk is ASA 2018 San Francisco, the Smith's Medical Symposium on Enhanced Recovery. Recorded before a live audience, this Q&A session was at the meeting of the American Society of Anesthesiologists, the ASA, at a specially hosted dinner where those in attendance and the online audience could submit questions. In this piece, Desiree Chappell continues her conversation with Dr. Elizabeth Giroux, Vice President of Medical Affairs at Axial Women's Health, with contributions from Monty Mython, Top Med Talk Editor-in-Chief and Smith's Medical Professor of Anaesthesia and Critical Care at University College London. Have a listen.
Top Med Talk.
All right. So this is from Steve. Thank you, Steve, for your question. How can enhanced recovery cohabitate with the baby-friendly hospital initiative?
Oh, it does.
What is the baby hospital?
Yeah.
So the idea that
do you have hospitals that are not friendly to babies?
So it was an initiative to have mom breastfeed as soon as possible, to have babies stay in the room as much as possible. So they cohabitate, so they're not wheeled down the room and in the nursery down the hall and everybody looks through the window and there. That mom and baby stay together as much as possible. To me, that is what enhanced recovery
absolutely.
They're all aligned.
Yeah. All right. This is from Vijay Gaba. What is the maximum dose of Duromorph you use for a spinal?
Since I don't do anesthesia, I'm not going to answer that.
We're going to defer that.
Yeah,
question.
that one I would have to defer.
All right.
It's low. How's that? And we have had suggestions of getting rid of Duromorph altogether because of the itching afterwards.
Is terrible, yeah.
And certainly we have lowered the dose. But I am not going to even venture that because it would be wrong.
All right. We have a question from Dan Lovernaria. He is a CRNA from Minneapolis. He's actually not here.
Oh, that's
He's
super
not
cool.
in the room. So that's awesome.
Woo!
Dan, thank you.
Hey, Dan.
That's right.
We love you,
great.
man.
We do love you. Yes. Thank you so much for your question. So the USA is 16th in the world with OB outcomes.
Yes.
Do you think enhanced recovery, or ERAS, can help enhance the quality and outcomes in OB cases comparatively to global outcomes?
Oh, that is a great question.
Yes, it is.
So, of course, like the positive side of me would say absolutely, but yes, we've had massive maternal mortality in this country for obstetrics, which is just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And if you look at a lot of that, they are complications to the surgery. We're talking about blood loss and bleeding. So yes, I think they are aligned in the sense of improving those outcomes. But I'm not sure that you'll see a huge impact in a short amount of time. I think long term you will, and we start to get better at some of the obstetrical tools for bleeding.
All right. Thank you, Dan, for that question.
That was a really hard question.
It's a comment. We could probably do a whole other hour on that.
If I had that solution, I'd probably retire tomorrow.
Or win a Nobel
Peace
Prize.
Yes.
Or Nobel Prize. This is from Vijay Gaba again, and it's a great question. As we are trying to implement enhanced recovery for C-section, we have some social issues, like screening neonates before they go home and arranging a car seat before they go home.
Yes. So that is something that exactly we have the same issues because those are mandated, and then Jersey screening needs to be done. So that heel stick has to be done. So that when you first start this, that is one of those long tail issues that you've got to overcome sooner rather than later, and have the pediatric team on board, and the nursing team and the social worker who's making sure all of those are on board. So yes, at the pre-op, that is a discussion. Do you have a car seat? You need to bring it in, and you have to bring it in tomorrow. So absolutely. Same exact issues.
Speaking to the multidisciplinary team
absolutely.
approach and getting everybody
without
on board.
question.
All right. What was the reaction of the hospital administrators in terms of decreased revenues when moms only stay 2 days instead of 4 days?
I was waiting for this question because we are a bundled payment, so you'll all be shocked. I presented this with my Dr. Kett.
Yeah.
We sat down with the CFO of our hospital, who I should probably give a shout out to too, but maybe he will think he's a target on his back after this. And we talked about throughput. We do 6,000 births at this hospital. So this is a big, women's and infants hospital. We talked about satisfaction scores. We talked about better patient engagement for the hospital. So we knew there were better outcomes. It was patient-centered, that this was better for patients to do. And they talked about turnover of rooms. And would people be more attracted to this hospital because we were doing better care? And they dove in. We had immediate buy-in, and I'm going to be totally transparent. They paid for the app. That's how excited they were about this program. They financially backed us. And having that support was amazing. And that's Leslie Hirsch and Garrett Starr from St. Peter's University Hospital in New Brunswick. Got that plug in. Yeah.
That's great.
So it was big. And I highly suggest if you're going to do something like this, you get your whole team on board. And this is part of the network. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it takes a strong C-suite to really engage this.
Yeah, and so see the vision for it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it also takes the providers who are doing this from a grassroots movement or from, an idea to communicate that and appeal to what is important to them. So.
Absolutely.
Next question. This is from Haiwan. Thank you for your protocol. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. No, it's good. 2 hours fluid NPO for general anesthesia for emergency sections as well.
So in labor we feed patients. So
you feed?
We do.
Feed.
We feed. Look at her. She's like, feed. Yes, food.
I wish I would have had some food.
So we feed patients. When you get into active stage, so some people can debate when it's active stage, when it's not active stage. But if a lot of times you're sort of thinking, okay, this patient might be the C-section patient. I'll say, hey, do you want the carbohydrate load? Just in case, might help you in labor too.
Yeah.
So we tend to do all that. But yes, as you're heading towards, the arrest of labor, that's over several hours, I'll then say to the patient, here's your drink, and let's see how you do, and what's the worst thing that'll help you with pushing. That's like running a marathon or sprinting at the end of one. So,
yeah, it is.
So we tend to use that, and it's been great.
So what's the app called?
So the app.
Do you feel comfortable with that?
Yeah, I mean so I would love to tell you I get a financial win from that. I should first pause and let you tell I'm not supported by anything. I should have said that from the beginning. We partnered with Seamless MD out of Toronto, but who's great. It was a startup company back in 2016, and now they're in major medical centers across the country. There are other app companies, something called Twistle. There's another one called Vox Health. Happy to help out with any of those connections or discussions and how we did it and why we did it, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I do too. It works really well. So we're going to open it up a little bit more just to enhance recovery in general again. And does anybody have any questions from the floor? Nope, we got one back here, Joff.
Do you apply any EROS for complicated patients like preeclamptics?
Can you introduce yourself?
Michael Ho from Houston, Texas, University of Texas, Houston. Do you do anything like EROS for complicated patients, like those with preeclampsia?
So there's complicated and then there's complicated, right? So my severe preeclamptic, who, maybe third spacing more than expected, we'll do components of it, the feeding, the eating, as long as it's an uncomplicated surgical time. Then yes, we do most of it. We do. So the pain control, the mobilization, all the rest of it, because the patient will benefit from that. The catheter, right now we have we take them out in 6 hours. We do a transducer, ultrasound if needed. But if I really need fluid management, I might leave that for 12, might leave it for 24. My HELP patient who had platelets of 23 last Sunday, we left that in. We couched a lot of things.
Got the mic back on.
Hello? Because those patients are often staying longer anyways. What way does it help?
Oh, I think if you're mobilizing, eating, those right there are 2/3 of the tenets, right? So those are big things. They recover better. They feel better. They do much better with their baby, without question.
Is that the discussion with some other people about enhanced recovery for cesarean section earlier? The objective is not necessarily to get patients home earlier.
Right.
It's to have them ready to go home as early as possible.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you want to be fully recovered as quickly as possible and all the benefits of that? So they're two separate issues.
Yeah. If you have to stay, you stay. That was always our onset. When we started this, the idea was recover better, looking at through the mindset of a patient. A vaginal delivery goes home in 2 days, and in my opinion, easier bonding with their baby immediately. Lots of things that, why can't a C-section do that? It's crazy why, especially as scheduled. There's no reason that a mom can't have the same exact experience.
That's good. All right, we're going to continue with some of our questions because they keep getting voted up here. So enhanced recovery seems to have a decreased length of stay. What major, minor, procedure-specific complications can we tell our patients have also been reduced? Monty.
So pretty much every complication has been reduced with enhanced recovery, not universally, but the reduction in length of stay is almost entirely driven by a reduction in minor and major complications. There are some before and after studies, including the implementation reported by Kaiser Permanente, that includes reporting a reduced death rate, so reduction in mortality, and there's now long-term longitudinal studies that report a reduced incidence of cancer recurrence, for example. So no one's reported any significant bad news. There's lots of potential good news.
Yeah. All right, next one. And if we want to get Dr. Chan in, too, I think we can kind of pull him back in with the mic. Joff, if he has anything to add. So we're just going to go, what is the mechanism by which a carbohydrate load is supposed to work? And what are the essential elements of that load? And that is from Mike Ho. Again, thank you.
So there's one school of thought that says the carbohydrate load is all about reducing insulin resistance. And the biology behind that is pretty sound. Now, when you look at the meta-analysis of the benefit of carbohydrate load, the various different studies, it's a bit flaky from the point of view of it being slam dunk that a few extra grams of carbohydrate preoperatively, even if it's a quite fancy combination, independently reduces length of hospital stay and reduces complications, for example. I would say that the main benefits, the biology is there and it can reduce insulin resistance, is patients like not being thirsty and not being hungry. So I think the biggest benefit is patient satisfaction. Yeah. There's plenty of papers written about it, but there's no massive trial that can say it's a slam dunk that there's magic in the carbohydrate.
Yeah, from a patient perspective, I get asked all the time, how come I have to be starved?
Yeah.
I mean, they just point blank, they don't like it. They don't like the idea. And some of that is about control, at least in my world in obstetrics. It's a lot about control. So I second that. How's that?
Absolutely. So the next question that's being voted up is, what do you think about the role of exparel versus bupivacaine or for indwelling catheters? So do you have an opinion on that one?
Mm-hmm. For indwelling catheters?
Yeah,
No, I think so. We don't have the liposomal bupivacaine preparations in the United Kingdom, but it would seem from the people I talk to around the world is that the advantage of having liposomally encapsulated bupivacaine, which has a longer action, would be in a single shot situation. So, Vincent, maybe you want to...
I was just going to say, Joff, can we ask Vincent to answer that one? I think...
Because it seems to be remarkable pharmacology that should produce great benefit. Why you would choose to infuse it, I don't know.
If you have long-acting local anesthetic, that most likely will replace the catheter technique. Yeah. But again, exparel is only available in the U.S., so in Canada, I don't have any clinical experience.
Well, it's not in Canada either.
No, it's not. The market. I talked to the company. They said the market share is too small, so there's no point. So they want to concentrate their effort. But then catheter technique is not obviously 100%. There are failures. The catheter may king. The catheter may fall out. So if you can inject a long-acting drug that will last for 2 to 3 days, that is a good thing. So I'm sure there are more and more studies coming out with the long-acting local anesthetics. There are 2 other long-acting local anesthetics coming into the market soon, I hope.
Yeah. So exparel liposomal bupivacaine. So we like to use those.
Yeah, we've reduced our opioids from 56 morphine milliequivalents to 36 with our ERAS down to 11. By using exparel in that last group. So we've had great benefit, but we have access to it too.
Yeah.
Top Med Talk.
I mentioned at the start our back catalogue of over 300 podcasts. You can download all of these completely free today. Top Med Talk is committed to open source publishing and will remain so for all new material. As we continue to grow beyond our expectations in subscribers and engagement of thought leaders around the world, we will be diligently working to enhance the experience of our listeners by creating a back catalogue, a highly curated collection of our podcasts, advanced search options and special bonus features. This will be available through our new app at a fee. So we encourage you to download all of the podcasts right now. It's completely free through to the end of this month and contains some absolute classics from some of the greats. Enjoy.